So I just saw the new Sam Mendes film 1917, and it was pretty good. Overall, I really enjoyed the film, but I definitely have my issues with it. I can see why people are absolutely loving this film. For one, the score is absolutely great in this film. There's a scene where one of the soldiers is singing a song. It's the same song they used in the trailer, but during that scene, I felt like it was really powerful, really impactful, and just really well done. The cinematography in the film is pretty great. I'll talk about the whole one-shot edit thing here in a second, but the film is shot by Roger Deakins, and it looks pretty great. And even though it's not Roger Deakins' like best work, it's still Roger Deakins, you know what I mean? It's still pretty solid. The performances are pretty good across the board. Nobody here really does a bad job. Everybody, I thought, did a pretty great job. The pacing in this film is pretty great. 2-hour movie that breezes by very quickly. It's constantly moving forward, and there's some really great intense moments in this film. There's a scene where one of the characters is running through a destroyed city at night. There's constantly these flares being shot up that's like lighting up the whole sky and everything around him. Then it goes back into pitch dark, and the whole time he's being shot at as he's running through this. And it's a really great and really intense scene. It's probably the best scene in the movie. At least for me it was. There's another scene that I can't really talk about without going into spoilers. If you've already watched the film, it's the scene where one of the characters is riding in a truck, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So the whole thing about this film being shot and edited to look like one continuous take has its pros and cons in this film. For the most part, this continuous flow really helps with the pacing. Director Sam Mendes said in behind the scenes that he wanted this film to be in real time, and there's definitely some merit to that. There's some pros to that, which, like I said, really helps with pacing. I think it also helps build the intensity of some scenes, being this one continuous flowing thing, also being in real time and everything like that. I think really adds this layer of intensity to everything. But it's not done as well as something like Birdman. I pretty much knew where every cut was in this film. It was pretty obvious, and to me that kind of was distracting. Outside of like a stylistic choice, there doesn't really seem to be much of a purpose for this to be one continuous take, but I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing either. To me, it came off a little bit more distracting than it was something to kind of awe about. I definitely think in the long run, this choice to be one continuous take has more pros than cons, but there's still some cons that took me out of the moment. My other biggest complaint with this film is the characters themselves. The two lead characters I felt were a little underdeveloped. I definitely didn't feel as emotionally invested into the characters as the film kind of wants you to be at some points. But overall, I definitely think 1917 is a pretty solid film overall. I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to check it out again when it comes out. I don't think I'll check it again in theaters, but I think it's one of those films that overall is just kind of a crowd pleaser. I could see a lot of people really loving this film. A lot of people have been really loving this film. I definitely think it's a good film, but I definitely think it has some issues. But overall, it's pretty good.